Okay, again, we're in section 4.2. So this is 4.2, number 13, and we're asked to do complete this proof. So again, I would tell you that before you ever try to start answering the questions, you need to see the answer in the proof. I like to say the proof is in the picture. So they're asking us to prove the triangles are congruent. At this point, in order to prove that the triangles are congruent, we have to prove all 6 parts of the triangles are congruent. We have to show that all of the angles are congruent and all the sides are congruent. So right off the bat, I could see that they didn't write anything on segment OM, but segment OM is shared by both of the triangles. So I'm going to put 3 clickies on there, and I'm going to say that segment OM is a shared side. Now the book is going to come in and tell you that that's like the reflexive property, but since OM is being shared by both triangles, I like to make my own rule up and say that it's a shared side. Then the only other thing we have to do is we have another angle in here. We've got this part of angle M and we have this part of angle O, and we need to show those are congruent. And I can do that by the third angle theorem. In other words, if 2 angles of one triangle are congruent to the 2 angles of another triangle, then the third angles are congruent. So that's how I'm going to show that those parts are congruent. So going back in here, when they start the proof in line 1, they say angle congruent, side congruent, side congruent. So all the parts that were marked up and given were written first. The second line says segment MO is congruent to segment MO, and again, your answer key is going to probably say reflexive property, but I like to say that it's a shared side. That's what I prefer. If you write on your proof reflexive property, I can't mark it wrong because that's the real answer, but I would prefer that you write shared side. Then why is it that angle NOM in line 3, statement 3, angle NOM is congruent to angle PMO? Well, we said that, those are congruent because of the third angle theorem. Now, you can write third angle theorem if you like, but I like to say if 2 angles of one triangle are congruent to 2 angles, of the other, the third angles are congruent, which is, of course, the third angle theorem. So if you write third angle theorem, I won't write that right or put that wrong. And then the last reason that I would like you to write in this one would be all angles and all sides are congruent. So reason 4 would be all angles and sides are congruent. Now the good news is in our next class meeting, when I teach you sections 3.3 or 4.3 and 4.4, I'm going to give you some shortcuts. At this point, we have no shortcuts for proving triangles congruent. So the only thing we can do is show all sides are congruent and all angles are congruent. And that's section 4.2, number 13.